Hello. I wanted to come on and say something about parents. I'm doing personal work and trying to do like a spiritual awakening right now, and my biggest thing that I had to get over was being mad at my parents for the way that they parented me, because it's really easy to, with that whole why me mindset, why did I was at such a disadvantage and everyone else this and me that and whatever. It's hard to get out of that loop, but the big thing that helps you to get out of that loop and start to heal instead of looking at the negatives of the situation is to realize that you are not who they made you to be. You are a human with a brain that was downloaded with information from your 5 biggest people in your life. You are an average of those 5 biggest people in your life. So like mom, dad, adopted parents, mom and mom, dad and dad, whatever. Those are your main people, and like grandparents and your closest friends, or like siblings and things like that. You are not who they made you to be. You just right now are an average of all of their traits. So you get to change that whenever you want, though. Literally whenever you want, you get to choose who you are, and you don't have to be who they say you are. As a matter of fact, if you feel as though you're not who they say you are, or if you have any kind of resistance between you and who they say you are, or who they think you are, because like our parents will fuck us up from the beginning. Like we'll make a mistake when we're kids, and then forever until then we are that klutzy kid, and they tell us we're klutzy, and they point out the klutzy things that we do, and they call us klutzy for our whole life. So then we go to college and high school and all that, and we're like, I'm such a klutzy person. But really, you're not. You're not a klutzy person. You just did some klutzy things, just like literally everybody else does. And your parents chose to focus on that. So you chose to focus on that because that's what was focused on for you, right? But now that you're an adult, you can direct your mind wherever you want. So in order to stop being mad at your parents, you want to remember that the same thing happened to them. You might have more information and more freedom now than they had when they were younger, which is possibly why you are doing more spiritual work than they are. Because it's easy to look at your parents and be like, well, if I could fucking think of it and I could think to be nicer, then why couldn't they? You didn't have what they had. Okay? If you had the exact same childhood that they had, exactly the same, if you had the same people, the same childhood, the same time, the same influences, the same environment, the same food, the same influences throughout your entire life, your entire childhood, you would be exactly to a T the way they are. But you're not, and we need to recognize the advantages that we have. We have access to internet. A lot of our parents didn't have that. They didn't have access to an abundance of knowledge. We can learn anything we want whenever we want. We can learn anything we want whenever we want. That's crazy. So we have our traits from our parents, and we tend to get mad about them not being better parents. But with what they had, with what we have, there is no way possible that we could be anything different than what we are, given what we've all been through. The same for our parents. There is no way they could be any different than what they are, given what they've been through, what they've seen, what they've believed. And this is where limiting beliefs come in. When your parents make you think that you're klutzy, when you go to school, you won't try out for the cheer team or gymnastics or anything like that, because you will think and you will believe that you are a klutzy person and that's not for you. And then even if you do try to break out of that, at some point, if you're not consciously choosing to believe the opposite of what you've been made to believe, then when you go in and you start trying to try out for things like that, you're going to make klutzy mistakes because you're going to have it in your head that you're a klutzy person. How unfair is that? Let it go. So this is where limiting beliefs come in, and this is why it's so important to change our limiting beliefs and decide what it is we're going to believe about ourselves. Because there's nothing different. There is no difference between you and a billionaire. There is no difference between you and the person living underneath the bridge in your hometown. Okay? It's just the beliefs. It's just the wiring that's different. You have the same brain as a millionaire and the same brain as a person living under the bridge or in a bucket or some shit. You have the same brain as them, so you can do the same thing with your brains that they do. If you want to be a rich person, imagine yourself as a rich person and then imagine what you would do if you were rich. That doesn't mean go and spend as much money as you want because you have all of the money in the world. No, that means if you're going to be rich and healthy, then you need to do rich and healthy things. A rich person makes money moves, doesn't spend money on poor things, on things that are not going to return their money to them. They don't let out more than they bring in. That is a rich person's mentality. If you want that, adopt it. If you want it, adopt it. So the point of today is to not be mad at your parents, and don't be mad at yourself either, because you are not who they made you to be. You are right now, but you don't have to be. You can choose to be whoever you want. Also, conscious decision is all that is needed. If you're trying to heal and trying to find a better version of yourself and you're struggling because you're mad at your parents, take time. Understand, of course you're going to be mad. Somebody did something that wasn't really that fair to you. Of course you're going to be mad. It's rightful you should be mad, but the reason that you're mad is because your body is telling you you did not deserve that. Don't let it happen again. So if somebody is calling you klutzy and constantly reminding you that you're a klutzy person, you know that you're not a klutzy person. You're going to prove things to yourself that you're not a klutzy person. You're going to do things, try out for a basketball team and kill it, or not. Or try out for a volleyball team and kill it, or not, or whatever. You're going to do things that are going to prove to you that that's not true. And then you're free. Disprove limiting beliefs. Just because you were made to believe something when you were young doesn't mean you have to believe it now.